This is the Kybalion and Physics Part 1, Gender in Energy. So I'm going to start by saying something very strange. Somebody in the ancient past left us 7 sentences in which to explain nature or reality. Now, I will argue that these 7 sentences are the actual laws of nature. And by taking what we think we know and comparing them to these 7 sentences, a different atomic model emerges that answers everything, which is what this whole thing is about, this entire project that I'd like to share with you. So these 7 sentences are: number 1, the all is mind, the universe is mental. Number 2, as above, so below. It means the microcosm is just like the macrocosm. You'll see. Number 3, all things vibrate. There is nothing at rest. Number 4, all things have polarity. All things have their opposite and their extremes meet. Remember that. This is very important. Now we're talking about opposites because opposites do exist in nature. Number 5, all things have rhythm, like the swing of a pendulum. Number 6, every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Chance is a law that is unrecognizable. Number 7, all things are masculine and feminine. This exists on all levels. Now I'd like to warn you right here, what do males and females do throughout the species? They reproduce, and they do that through sex. This understanding will include that topic. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please blame nature, because birds aren't chirping to make you happy. They're chirping to get some. Come on. So all this stuff that I'm talking about applies to nature and manifests throughout nature. That's the amazing part. Energy creates all things in the universe. Everything about energy can be explained in this universe, the only one. So let's start with an atom. An atom is the smallest object in the universe, which is the building block for all life and matter. It's wonderful that modern technology has finally been able to photograph these tiny objects. An atom looks like a fuzzy black sphere with a tiny dot of light directly in the middle. An accurate descriptive name for atoms would be black bodies. Thank you, Max Planck. Genius. There are only 2 basic types of energy that come together to create an atom. They are opposites that are attracted to each other, as explained by the laws of nature. The attractive force that creates matter also creates life. Again, that's very important, and it will be revealed why in the very end. Let's move on to light. Light moves outward and carries heat with it. Because light moves outward, it is masculine. All males have an outward property. Right, gentlemen? Yep, that's true. Dark energy is the opposite of heat and light. It moves inward on itself in a spiral pattern. Because of the rule of opposites, dark energy is cold. Dark energy is feminine. All females have an inward property. Right, ladies? It's true. Light and dark energy are opposites, obviously. They come together to create matter, or atoms. The reason they are attracted to each other is because they are masculine and feminine. The attraction between male and female is the only attractive force in all of nature. The purpose of gender is for 2 to become 1 in order to create or reproduce. Let me state that again, because this is very, very important. The purpose of gender is for 2 to become 1 in order to create or reproduce. You see, gender is not a social construct, regardless of what modern gender study classes are telling young people these days, unfortunately. Gender has everything to do with coming together to create, as found throughout all the species in nature, and now I'm telling you that it has to do with energy itself, because this is the source of it. Let's continue. The foundation for all things is black and white, inward and outward, which takes us right back to basic physics, right? Let's talk about atomic vibration. An atom vibrates because the nucleus, made of light, is constantly pushing outward, while the dark energy surrounding it continuously pushes inwardly. The light inside the nucleus pushes outward in a rhythm, which causes a vibration. All atoms vibrate. There is nothing at rest, which is one of the laws of nature. The cause for atomic vibration is very much how most sexual organs work. In fact, energy is the source of that, which manifests greatly throughout nature. The act of sex between males and females is crucial for reproducing, to create. The explanation for an atom is simpler to some by equating the dark energy, which is female, surrounding the nucleus of light, which is male, to reproductive organs. Just like a male reproductive organ gets when it's excited, the light inside the nucleus of an atom gets excited by being inside its opposite, dark inward energy. This creates a repelling force against other masculine energy, as explained throughout this entire project, but we'll really dive into that in the next section, part 2, when we talk about gravity. In nature, we see this function in males as an erection, and socially, we see this function in nature as territorialism. See? It manifests throughout nature. Telling you. The nucleus of an atom is all one thing. It's a tiny singularity made of excited outward moving heat and light, surrounded by its opposite, dark inward energy. Excited masculine energy repels other masculine energy. Because of the rule of opposites, feminine energy does not repel itself, which allows for dark energy to pile on around the nucleus of an atom. Since energy cannot be destroyed, a singularity can withstand a lot of inward energy. Masculine and feminine energy come together to create, not destroy. And this is very important, and we'll start talking about this in part 3 when it comes to talking about what you guys are calling black holes, but what I actually call are giant atoms. We'll get to that. Since light carries heat, it is logical to assume that dark energy must be cold. Otherwise, the heat inside the nucleus would eventually burn the atom up. The two opposites keep each other in balance. And that makes sense. Dark energy is cold, light is hot. The two come together and balance each other out. This whole thing is about balance. Let's talk about the cause of solidity in atoms. It's created in the spherical border where both outward light and inward dark meet. The two coming together is very much like pressing your hands together. Go ahead and try it. Put your hands together and push them against each other. That pressure against each other creates something solid in a spherical shape. By the way, so far quantum physics has yet to give an explanation for the cause of solidity in atoms or even atomic vibration, and here I've given 2 very simple answers. Occam's razor, anybody? Let's apply this to the periodic table, but before I do, I need to define a term that will be new for us, but is actually an ancient term because I got it from the Bible. Inward parts. Inward parts are tiny measurements of dark energy that surround the nucleus of an atom. The more inward parts an atom has, the denser that type of matter is, generally. This is shown by the original periodic table. The nucleus of an atom can be any size, but because of the rule of opposites, the size of an inward part is constant. And we'll talk about the nuclei of atoms being different size in the following section, as well as throughout this entire project. But because of the rule of opposites, inward parts are constant. The size of an inward part is constant. Hydrogen is the smallest type of atom and the first element in the periodic table. It has 1 inward part surrounding the nucleus. Helium has 2 inward parts. The periodic table shows us that an atom can have up to 2 inward parts in the immediate orbit around the nucleus and 8 in the second layer or shell. These layers are called valence shells. They represent how many inward parts it takes to cover the singularity that they surround. As they pile on around each other, there is more area to cover, which allows for more inward parts. When the spaces in each valence shell are full, the atoms are more balanced and do not bond naturally with other atoms. These types of atoms are called noble gases. Molecules are atoms that share inward parts. By sharing inward parts, they fill the space around the nucleus that an atom can have per shell. The sharing of inward parts is the result of trying to balance. So basically what I'm saying here is that inward parts replaces electrons when it comes to forming matter, or atoms. And hopefully you've understood the explanation. I've tried to make it as simple as I can. I will be talking about electrons in part 4. Until then, I hope you stick around for part 2, which I'm going to be talking about something that quantum physics has not been able to explain. In fact, they've passed it off onto some other alternate dimension through M-string because they haven't been able to explain it, which is actually something that's very, very simple. I hope you stick around for gravity. Thank you for your time.